Yo, people, and welcome to week 15 of the NFL season. How you doing, bro? How you doing?
All okay, all okay. My team lost yesterday, but it is what it is.
I
I
mean, yeah.
could be in a
I
worse
could-
position. That's the thing. I could be worse, but that's for you.
y- That sounds like a little indirect there, mates.
No, that's for you. Yeah, I mean, I could be worse. My team's still in playoff contention. I didn't think we would even be in playoff contention, but the Panthers are in contention. The Chiefs are out of contention. This is not what we thought was going to be happening
You're not
going.
wrong. You're not wrong. Although the Panthers were in a position where they should have been ahead in their division now, but yeah.
Hey, we got to play the Bucks still, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I
We'll
think you got
still,
them twice, actually.
yeah, exactly. So it is what it is. We have to kind of it's in our own hands. It always was. Well, it wasn't, but it's now in our own hands.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You know, speaking of the Bucks, we'll start off with them Thursday night game against the Falcons. I mean, yeah, that division, your division, the Falcons and Saints, they've just caused to cause chaos because, yeah,
Mhm.
only God knows now they want to perform. Not to say, do you know what I mean? But yeah, the Bucks, that was a bad loss for them, and I think you saw it from how vexed Todd Bowles was after the game. I don't think I've ever seen him like that before.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. To be fair, the Bucks blew
Mm,
it. The
yeah,
Bucks blew it at the end of the game. Um, sorry,
it's all right.
Mr. Kyle Pitts turned up though.
Contract here.
It's a contract year, but I feel like people have been saying for a few years that he's a bust, and they wasted the fourth overall pick with him. I think like if they put him in these type of situations and use him more in the right
Mm.
or as a wide receiver than a tight end, I think that's where they get the best out of him.
Do you think that was partly because there was no Drake London as well, though?
Of course, of course. The less obviously Drake London's a number one.
Hmm.
So without him being there, obviously Kyle Pitts has got more opportunity to get the ball in his hands. But this is the first what? He hadn't had a touchdown in I didn't know how long. So
Mm.
like to have three. Do you get what I
So
mean?
he's the first tight end since Shannon Sharp to have 150 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Mm.
Like,
But the way they were lining him up, it was like he was a wide receiver. So I felt
mm,
like he has a physical domination over a lot of cornerbacks, safeties, and that sort of stuff. Just the height, the build, the speed, everything to go with it. So it's a full package. It just needs to be put on film more often than not. And the Falcons, as we know, are a weird, weird team. They win the games they're not meant to win. They
mhm,
lose the games they're meant to win. So that was another one that we saw on Thursday night from the Bucks' perspective. I
mhm,
don't know what they were doing. Baker doesn't look like Baker since that shoulder injury. In fact, before the shoulder injury, but since that shoulder injury, he
mhm.
hasn't looked great. And they had their whole receiving core back.
Yeah,
So there's no excuses now on his part or on the Bucks' part of why they've blown the lead like that.
yeah, no, definitely. Because he had a fairly good game. And like you said, quarterback Mike Evans, he acted as if he went in. Not saying he went acting as he just came back from injury and continued where he left off from. That's what I was
Yes,
going
yes,
to
yes.
say. Because was it what's his name? Is it Jalen McMillan? This was his first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted him last year. So like, in terms of like their receiving core, the Bucks got a fairly. We don't know if Chris Godwin is going to say next year, but they've got a good receiving core with Edbuka as well. So.
Yeah. They've got everyone they need, but
Mm,
they just seem to, as of recent anyway, losing to the Saints, then losing to the Falcons.
yeah.
Like 2 games you on paper you go, the Bucks should win regardless of who's out there for the Bucks.
Hmm.
And they go and blow those games. And now you put yourself in a position where you're still leading the division, but you let the Panthers really just be in the door now. And
Hmm.
you now have to go and beat them twice. It's like you had it in your hands where you might be able to lose a game. Now it's like
Yeah.
nothing. So I just feel like for them, if they get in the playoffs, they're dangerous. No, like people will say, "Oh, I don't." No one cares about playing the two teams, the Panthers or Bucks. They'll beat them easily. But I don't know if you want to play those two teams because Baker's a serious playoff quarterback, and we've never seen Bryce Young in there. But the Panthers are young and hungry, so yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting into the season.
No, it will. It will. You're right. Yeah. Either way, that first round, any team is going to them. At this, as it's, I think, as it is in the standings, it's the Seahawks that are going to the Bucks. So that's yeah. Like he said, Baker might just wake up them. We know he can perform in the postseason. That's nothing for him. And if the Bucks are getting healthy, if they're to go through, then yeah. And then, like you said, with the Panthers, they're up. If you catch them on your bad day, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we know what upsets they've pulled throughout the season. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, he tends to show up against the Bucks. So had a fantastic game. Roll back the years.
Well, he's still getting paid $50 a year, isn't he? So
yeah.
Oh, he should be playing like he's getting paid $50 million a year. So I like Kirk Cousins. I do like him. I feel like he's a very disrespected around the league just because, well, not even around the league. I think in media circles, just because of like he's made so much money on the franchise tag and doing it the way they don't usually do it. But I do like him as a pocket passer. If you protect him for enough periods of time, he will pick you apart. We've seen that we've seen that all the time, basically.
Yeah, I think with him is because he's been paid so well throughout his career. If I'm not mistaken, he's like top 10 all time in earnings. So and then he hasn't had that much postseason success already, and so that's probably where that part comes from.
Yeah, but how many quarterbacks can we actually say have had great postseason success? There's not.
Oh no, it's not his fault. You've given him the money. Do you know what I mean? Or these teams, so it's like it's that. Speaking of two quarterbacks who are highly paid, and they are on paper like the best in their class, but have been plagued by injuries and aren't currently playing like the best. But the Ravens, the Bengals, bro, 0.
The big fat O.
And I think the concern, obviously, once Joe Burrow's press conference last week, was that boy, the Bengals is obviously their season's done anyway, but like their long-term future is in big risk now in regards to Joe Burrow. Like whether he still wants to play football or whether he just wants to be in Cincinnati. And it kind of showed in the game, like for him to put up 0 points against the Ravens, they're not like their defense ain't wow. They put up 30 odd couple weeks ago on them, and just you still got your weapons. It was just like the press conference funneled into the game. Like it was a weird game itself. The Ravens weren't even that impressive.
No, they weren't. They just did what they had to do to win the game. And Burrow just didn't look like himself. It almost was like, oh, okay, well, I'm out here, but I'm just out here because I have to be. Like it was kind of the season's done. He knows it, but he's not in the right place that mentally. That's what it seems like. And the Bengals don't help themselves anyway. Like in terms of just how they do things, I don't feel like their organization helps out to put them in a position to even be competitive sometimes. Like as much as last week they had the game against the Bills, they played well. They still gave up loads of points. The week before they played the Ravens. The Ravens turned the ball over 5 times. So that's why they still won. The Ravens were still in the game for half the game, even with the 5 turnovers. You get what I mean? So
yeah,
the Bengals organization doesn't give themselves chances to be competitive, and I think Joe Burrow just is now really feeling the effects of it. He's looking around like, I don't think we can actually ever win here. He's thinking we made the Super Bowl that 1 year where we have gone a hot streak defensively, offensively, but he's like, I don't think we can.
And
ever
then even the championship game the following year.
Exactly, but I feel like he's got to the point now. He's looking around like, we can't do anything with this. We can't do anything with this. Like Hendrickson's out injured, probably going to leave. We've just paid a few people, but how are we going to get over the top? I feel like he's looking next year we'll see. And if not, I think it's a trade option
I
for him.
mean, there's some teams that arguably in the NFC that might need a quarterback, just like because we were talking yesterday of how good the teams are in the NFC, innit?
Mm-hmm.
And what team wouldn't want Joe Burrow? Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. There's only 3 teams that aren't trading their quarterback for Joe Burrow,
Mm,
and those 3 teams are the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs.
yeah, yeah, no, it's true.
Everyone else, it's up for you. You get what I mean? I'm
Yeah,
not saying that like they will do because obviously Joe Burrow is so highly paid and mess with your cap and that sort of stuff. But if you can get Joe Burrow in Minnesota Vikings uniform, for instance, at Houston, I know CJ Stroud's there, but you get what I mean. I'm just
mhm.
giving you like teams. If you could get him in
What about
Chicago,
Philly?
yeah, yeah, it's true. I just don't think the Bengals would accept the trade from Joe Burrow for Jaden Hurts. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to put hypotheticals out there with younger quarterbacks that would
Mhm,
maybe the Bengals go, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll make a trade with Chicago
mm.
because Chicago would happily trade Caleb Williams if they're going to get
I
Joe
don't know,
Burrow.
I actually don't know.
You don't think Chicago would just trade Jed Caleb before Joe Burrow?
Nah, actually, I think it's not as easy as that for decision. I actually don't think they will.
On the table, I just think literally if they say Joe Burrow is available, Caleb, see you later.
I think they're one of the few teams that won't do it.
I
That
only think
obviously where Burrow's the better quarterback. I think they're one of the few teams that won't do it.
for what reason though? Because I only think that
I think Caleb's upside is, or the projection of his upside is so high in it that, and I feel
how
like,
high.
huh?
How are you thinking though? Because Joe Burrow's a top 4 quarterback regardless. Is Caleb
I
going to
think
be no?
I think they think Caleb will be that window.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I think like Caleb is perceived in terms of his upscale. Because the natural ability wise, he's one of the most talented in the NFL. It's just once everything starts to fall into play, if they're obviously saying like this second year and just this first year with Ben Johnson alone, the Bears are at 10 wins and Caleb hasn't even played great. So imagine he unlocks another level to him. Do you know what I mean?
But that's the thing though, because he hasn't played great and they're winning. It's the coach and it's the team doing more than what he's doing. It's similar to like what's going on. I feel like this is my only thoughts. I feel like Caleb is more of a Trevor Lawrence than anything else. Like he has the ability to be that, but we'll
Mm,
see it once every 6, 7 games. We won't ever see it for a consistent time. That's why I feel like you'll be
yeah.
happy to move him for Joe Burrow because Trevor Lawrence was also one of the most talented. Do you get what I mean? He's got
Yeah.
the
No, it's true.
so I just that's my comparison. They've both got stupid arm talent. They're both big, and they can move and that sort of stuff.
Mm,
But my comparison to Caleb is more Trevor Lawrence. That's why I say Joe Burrow to Chicago. The Bengals would take Caleb because they're cheap and they just don't like spending money. And
I mean, to be fair, the flip side for the Joe Burrow argument is he's wanted people paid, and the Bengals have actually done it.
that's true. That's true. But I'm just giving, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
My
Because
main thing would
like,
be for him.
not to say there's a blame game factor, but he has to own some of it as well.
Mm.
Because like them actually, they're one of the only teams that would have paid both Chase and Higgins.
Yeah,
Bearing in mind the perception that they would have been the last place team to have done something like that before it
yeah.
happened.
It's true. It's true.
So
Ideally, I'd say for him to go Minnesota. If that would be my trade if he was to get traded because you
mm,
can go and you can still have 2 wide receivers. You'll have either the first or the second best wide receiver in the league still.
you got another one from college, bro.
Exactly. And then you have Addison. So you still
I
got a
think
great too.
the Vikings would have to give up a lot though, because I think they're the highest paying team in the league.
They would, but I think they can give up JJ McCarthy and literally loads of picks. As in,
Mm,
like, talking about for the next 3, 4 years, as in you're just giving them all up. But as I said, the Bengals are cheap and like to save money, so it's something the Bengals may do.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting if it gets to that point in the offseason where he actually either says to them or comes out and says he wants to be traded.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. Joe Burrow's from Cincinnati as well, ain't he?
Is he from Ohio?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ohio. Yeah. So it's it's a bit of a tough one, you know. Where because you got like you got receivers that you're not gonna get anywhere else.
Mm. It's
And
true.
even if Higgins leaves, for instance, Yoshavash, the third receiver, he's quite good to be fair. Like they can mold him to become even better. And then, yeah, if you just draft well whilst you've still got Chase in his prime, innit? So
But that's the thing. Joe Burrow ain't got time to waste. He's
yeah, no, which
injured.
is true.
He's injured so much. He's thinking to himself, bro, I've literally got to win now. I've never won he's never actually won anything in this NFL. Nothing. No individual awards. No. Okay, you won the AFC once.
Yeah, because it'll be like it's another thing. Obviously, we stayed on this for a bit long, but it's super interesting. Could he have like just be like Andrew Luck and just be fed up? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
Or I think I was listening to something and they were talking about Carson Palmer, who was also a Bengals quarterback, and he threatened to retire and then
Yeah.
got traded and then still played for a long career.
So what's saying that Joe Burrow just doesn't do the same thing? Because it seems like everyone that's at Cincinnati seems to want to do the same thing and get out of there.
It's like with the Bengals, yeah. It's like there's a cap on your greatness. I feel like the Browns are fairly similar. It might be just those Ohio teams in particular. There's like a cap on your greatness.
Yep.
Like I don't know, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, that I think their season. Yeah, there's
Yeah. It's
been
done.
another, because that's what 3 straight seasons they've not made it to the postseason,
Nope. Nothing.
and before that they reached the AFC Championship game, both one of them being the Super Bowl. So yeah, it's just
It's been a
tight.
doubt.
Go on, sorry.
It's been going downhill. It's literally since they were up high. All it's been is a downhill. It's like literally just plummeted.
And
And
it
we're doing
also shows like with the NFL, and I kind of sports in general, but the NFL especially, like you have to really strike while the iron's hot. Like, if you can win it with that second-year quarterback, go and win it there. Obviously, they had their chance. Not to say they didn't go for it because they did, but like just for instance, the second-year quarterbacks are doing well now, bro.
Yeah.
Strike while the iron's hot because that opportunity might not come around again.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. A lot of people see the Super Bowl one time in their life and never ever again. Some people never
Mate,
ever see it.
we've got MVP winners that still haven't seen it.
Aaron
So
Rodgers, one time.
yeah, one time. Yeah, no, it's true.
What's
It's
what's
it's
why does anyone else think they're going to be there more than that?
no, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. 'Cause what Burrow's played, well, he's been in the league, is it 6 or 7 years? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the way he's injury prone, it might not be a long career that people would expect for a quarterback. So,
Exactly that.
why? So that's the Ravens. Fair play to them. They got the W. Lamar didn't have to do too much. Derrick Henry ran for 100 yards. Just give it to Derrick Henry. Yeah, get the run game going, man. It seems hot. Keep it that way, or hot enough as that better part of the offense. Another team that are run game specialists, although their running game weren't that great again. Eagles, another zero on the opposition. This time with the Raiders. I think the Chiefs beat the Raiders 31-0. I think now the Eagles have done it. Jalen Hurts, very good game. Didn't have to throw for a lot, but super efficient. And they needed to get back in the win column after 3 straight losses
Yeah.
for them. And you know
Perfect game.
that
What's back for?
ah
Perfect game to have once you've lost
yeah,
three. Having a
agreed.
Raiders, you can just go, okay, cool. We can actually try things here. We can do different type of things. We're playing against their backup quarterback, so we'll work some things that we may use next week into the schemes and defense that's been stagnant. And it's like an extension. As bad as it sounds, it's like an extension of training when you're playing the Raiders. So I feel like they got the job done, and they all got the right type of reps in and managed to work how they wanted to work.
No, no, I agree. I agree. Um, I'm more or less for them wrap up the division and try and just head into the postseason with some sort of good positive form because
Mm.
the Eagles and their supernatural funk. But yeah, big win for them. Um, the team that you feel is the most dangerous in the AFC, the Texans, and I completely understand why they finished that Cardinals game quick, and that's not something we've said with the Texans a lot this season because their offense hasn't really clicked. It's obviously their defense have just been monumental, but CJ had is just like similar to the Eagles. CJ had a game that's good heading into the postseason. Obviously, if they make the postseason, where like you somewhat think they can be the most dangerous team in the AFC.
I think so. I think so because their defense is so dominant. It just comes down to competent quarterback play, and they've got that. And CJ has shown in the playoffs he isn't an underperformer. He performs. So he's been there. He's literally been there every year of his career. I think he'll be back this year, and I feel like he's had tough tests and he's seen what's going on, but he hasn't had this type of defense to roll with him. He's now got a crew rolling with him into places. And if they win a division, which is, well, they may, but it's possible. But if not, them going on the road, you don't want to see them. That's the one team I feel like you don't want to see right now. They're in a hot streak. Their defense is flying around, killing teams. Offensively, CJ looks good. He looks healthy after obviously coming off the back of the concussion. So I feel like the Texans just are clicking on all cylinders right now, and it's not the team that you want to see going into the postseason. And there would be right now, they'd be my favorite in the AFC just because of how their defense plays, what they've got on offense, and they've got the most. I think in the AFC they've got the most complete team in the AFC.
Would you still have them as favorites, even if they're on the road?
Yeah, it depends what their road schedule looks like, but yeah, because who would they have to go to first? I think the only. Do you know what? It's not even that. I'd say the only test they'd probably have, real test, is if they have to go to Denver or have to go to Buffalo. But I say that going to Buffalo, they dealt Buffalo so badly the other time I saw, even though that was in Houston, but they dealt with them. I think they could deal with them again. So I think the problem they'll have is on the road in Denver.
Because again, obviously, if they do win their division and they get home games, then I might more or less align with you. But obviously, they know their surface. Whereas if they're going out to the cold, but them winning at the Chiefs last week, it showed me stuff for them as well. Because they actually handled the conditions well, like
Yeah.
the noise of Arrowhead, the cold, everything. Like so, and again, if CJ just needs to be good or fairly good, because their defense whole team's to 20. It's minimum.
Yeah.
That this 20, it feels like that the Cardinals scored, and that's just because the game got out of hand. It feels like that's the most a team's put up on the Texans. I think all season in my mind. Do you know what I mean? I can't think off the top of the head. Like,
No,
top
you're
of
not
my
wrong.
head.
But yeah, no, I like the Texans a lot. I
Mm,
really like them a lot. So I feel like they're the real dark horse in the AFC, but
I agree.
the dark horse that everyone is looking at like, let's try and avoid this team somehow.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree with you. What CJ 22 for 29, 260 yards, 3 TDs. I think Jordan, the rusher, had 100 yards. It's
Mm,
like, and then we know their defense is just phenomenal. So,
yes.
yeah, uh, that battle for that one seed in that division between them and the Jags, who will come on to seed. Yeah, it's gonna be it.
Interesting.
And you know what? Well, with the Jags now, we might as well stay on topic. Jags, Jets, and I literally just seen a notification that the Jets fired their DC um Wilkes. Obviously they gave up 48 points to the Jags, and Trevor Lawrence arguably had the best game of his career. I think he's gonna be the NFL player of the week because
Yeah. 5 touchdown for passes.
five passing and one rushing. I think
Mm.
he's the first player in NFL history, if I'm not mistaken, with 300 plus passing yards, passing touchdowns, one rushing touchdown, and 50 plus rushing yards as well.
Mm. He had a day. He had a day.
So those fantasy owners, boy,
He had a day against the terrible Jets team. But I feel like for the Jags, it was a game they were gonna win. It was in Jacksonville, wasn't it? So
yeah,
yeah, it's one of those ones where I feel like the Jets just getting out of the cold weather of New York and coming to somewhere that's warm. I'm thinking, oh yeah, we're just here. It's happy go lucky. You get what I mean? I think a lot of their team have checked out of this season. It seems like
mm.
anyway. What do they call it? Sophisticated tanking. I feel like that's what the Jets are currently doing right now.
What you saying? Get a couple wins, couple games ago, and then
Mhm. Yeah.
say,
Let's go.
"Oh, we tried."
Exactly. I feel like that's what they're doing right now. Firing their DC. I don't know what point it makes at this point. Do you get what I mean? Like you've
Yeah,
been bad this whole season. Like why are you firing him this week? Um, I think it's just a scapegoatish firing. But
mhm.
as it happens, you fire someone because you saw something bad happen. It's like the Dolphins when they fired their executive after the Ravens game, and now look, it's like it's weird ones. You get what I mean?
The Dolphins one had to go though.
Yeah, I know, but it's just weird. It's weird
Yeah, nah,
situations.
I hear what you said. I
Um,
feel like those kind of things, they're like, obviously, we're not going to let go of the head coach. Something has to give. Someone has to go. Because what
mm,
other team fired one of these coordinators fairly recently? It's just like the Giants.
yes.
Something has to before Brian Daboll in it. So
Mhm.
so
It's
yeah.
just the cycle they go down, really. But yeah,
Mm,
the Jags were good, man. The Jags were good. As we're gonna see who is gonna be the best in that division. Do they still have to play the Texans? Because it feels like the last games are all divisional games. Um,
yes, they are. Let me check their schedule now because their schedule is one that is actually really intriguing me. They don't have to play the Texans.
they don't. Who they have got? Who they got?
No, they've got the Broncos next week away, then the Colts away, and then they finish at home to the Titans.
So, but they could go 2-1 though.
Let me check the Texas schedule because this is actually very interesting
Mm.
because it seems like the Colts. So Texans they got the Raiders at home next, Chargers away, and then the Colts at home.
So they could also go
They,
two and
they,
one, two,
like, yeah, they should
or
go 2-1. They should go 3-0 basically.
they should do. The Texans could go. The Texans should go 3-0. The oh boy, the Jags look like they could go 1-2.
This
The
Denver,
Colts,
this Denver, if they beat the Broncos, yeah, this upcoming week, how serious would you take the Jags
they're a serious team. If you beat the Broncos, where in Denver,
in Denver? Yeah,
you beat the Broncos in Denver, you're a serious team. As in, we've got to trust you. We got to look
yeah.
at you as a contender. My only issue is I've seen Trevor Lawrence in the playoffs.
To be fair, he's actually been okay in the playoffs. The comeback against the Chargers and then the loss the following game to the Chiefs, he wasn't bad. Like it wasn't a bad
Mm.
playoff game and stuff like. He's not a Justin Herbert in the playoffs.
Yeah. That's a different story. That's a different. But yeah, no. If the Jags do go into Denver and beat them, we're gonna have to look at them like serious contenders in the AFC. So yeah, and you'll be looking like, oh, where is the Super Bowl contender coming out of the AFC South? That's what you'll be
Yeah,
looking.
no, I agree. Because I
So
feel like if they both finish out strong, the Jags and Texans, they might be arguably the two teams in the whole AFC everyone else wouldn't want to face.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
the Jags, we've seen how their team has been throughout the season. It doesn't look impressive on paper, but their defense have played fairly well. They get
yeah.
enough takeaways. And then when their run game's good enough, it's
It's
like,
pretty good.
it's one them games when Trevor hasn't played well. So
Mm,
now Trevor, when he's put up some decent games of recent, obviously this one being quite historical, it's like, boy, you don't want him and CJ Stroud to get hot at this particular time.
yeah, it's true. It's true. They get hot right now, then it's going to be problems for everyone else.
Mm,
Everybody's going to be like, okay, well, what do we do now? So,
mm,
as we said this year, since obviously we know what's going on with the Chiefs, it is the year for anyone to win it. You don't have Joe Burrow in the playoffs. I know he ain't been there for ages, but you don't have Joe Burrow in the playoffs. You don't have Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. You might not have Lamar Jackson in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean? It is open season. You have Josh Allen in there,
Yeah.
but he'll be on the road as it's looking like. So it's open season.
Yeah.
So it is up for anyone to go and to get to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. No, you're not
Interesting.
wrong. You're not wrong, bro. I guess you mentioned the Chiefs and their season. It's officially over. It was over for me after the Texans loss. I've still support the boys. Put the jumper
Mm-hmm.
on today, but it's not a proud one. And I think just the worst news coming from that game. Do you know what? First of all, big up the Chargers. As much as their fans are annoying, their admin on Twitter was actually a good post. They actually swept the Chiefs. So fair play to them. They've fought through. Justin Herbert, he hasn't played well recent, but he's fought through. He was all right that game after his pick. He's fought through with this injury. And they're just getting it done. Next man up. No matter who gets injured, someone else is shining. And yeah, just managing to stifle the Chiefs, which a few teams have had that chance to do of recent. And the big news from that game is Patrick Mahomes has torn his ACL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the worst news we could have got from the game. We don't like to see our super duper stars in any league go down, but especially not the superstar in the NFL.
Yeah.
Sad news, very sad news, but I feel like it gives him an actual chance to rest and recover for once. I feel like the Chiefs have played like extra seasons worth of time with all their
Mm-hmm.
post seasons and, consistently getting to the AFC Championship game and majority of the time getting to the Super Bowl. He's played like probably 2 extra seasons more than his actual seasons have said. Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? Just games. So as bad as it is, I think it gives him an opportunity to actually rest and recover. I feel like if they lost that game, they would have sat him down anyway. But I know the knee was bothering him for a few weeks, according to the
Yeah.
report. But as soon as I saw it, I said, I think, yeah, that's him. That's him done. But I feel like for the Chiefs in general, it's also, as you said before, it's also a wake-up call. You now have to understand that Patrick Mahomes is not invincible and you need weapons around him to help him out. Because
Mm-hmm.
if this year showed us anything, it showed us if one man cannot do it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you can't be sticking with the same old things and thinking they're going to work when everyone else is evolving. If you think you can stick with Travis Kelce, who's on the brink of retirement, Chris Jones, who's aging out, and no receivers, really, do you get what I mean? Or no
Mm-hmm.
name receivers, no number one receivers, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point. It gets to a point where it reaches its course. And I feel like it reached its course with this specific version of the Chiefs. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, will be the reset you need. Patrick Mahomes will obviously be fit for the start of next season, hopefully. And you can probably go into the draft some people that you want, make some trades for people you want, upgrade your damn locker room. That's what you need to do as well, owner. I'm going to be honest, because that's what I know when they come in there. Yeah, but invest some money into the facilities and then
Uh,
go again.
that's the thing though. Like again, I feel like the year after Tyreek left when they won the Super Bowl, because of the way they done it, it goes back to me saying the complacency kicked in because he kind of did something people don't usually do like that. Do you know what I mean? Especially when they were expected to fall off then and there, and then they go back to back. They go back to back and win another Super Bowl, and then they go for the treble. And each season, you could see it's like his numbers were declining, but he's playing the like postseason wasn't. He was clutch and everything, but it's just like everything just started to. It's only a matter of time. But the flip side is you have to ride the storm as well. Do you know what I mean? Because you're never in those situations. But it then comes to like say trade deadlines, trades. Obviously, you're not when you're getting that far in the season, you're not going to get high draft picks. Because just for argument's sake, last 7 years they've been getting the 31st and 32nd draft pick. If he is injured longer than the start of next season, I genuinely think they should potentially. If he misses half of next season, I genuinely think they should he shouldn't play the whole of next season.
That makes
And then
sense.
whatever they do record wise, not necessarily tank because I don't feel like they'll be good anyway. So if they keep Gardner Minshew, they stay. He's serviceable, but really delve into the draft because this year they're actually gonna get a decent top 20 draft pick.
Exactly.
And then next year, if they don't do good, obviously it's not good as a team for that moment, but long term it could be super beneficial in terms of who they draft when he is fully healthy and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, but then, yeah, knowing him, the fact that he played on this injured knee, if he's healthy, he's gonna, like you said, if it's gonna be in 9 months, he's gonna be ready for the start of next season.
Yeah, it's Mahomes. I think he will want to play. I think he'll want to get back to where he's knowing his level.
Mhm.
Uh, and I think it'll be good for him just to take a seat away from things for a while.
I agree,
Because when you're in the full thick of it all the time, like
bro. It's
it
been
might non
non-stop, like
non-stop since the second year since he started. So how many years is that? Like 7, 8 years?
seven straight AFC Championship games.
7 straight years of non-stop, long
Like
season.
he never goes to the Pro Bowl.
No, that's the thing. And he gets less rest than everyone else because your season finishes later and then everyone starts earlier. So, do you get what I mean? And they're adding more and more games. So, you're just getting less rest and it catches up to you. And you could see from the main quarterbacks. Josh Allen, touch wood. I don't want him to get hurt. So,
Mm,
he's the only one that survived the injury bug so far out of the top 4. Do you get what I mean?
yeah, but
So,
even this season on him, there's been a few occasions where he's been hurt in games, and you'll
mm,
think, "Oh no, please don't be seriously injured," innit? Do you know what I mean?
exactly.
So, and
So,
it goes back to my point. Who were we talking about at the beginning? Where Joe Burrow, sorry, where
yeah.
these things can you'll think, oh yeah, like because Mahomes is chasing Brady, a lot of people think, oh yeah, maybe he can play as long as Brady. One, that is out of the question. But then two, these kind of injuries just take years of these guys' lives. Like
Mhm.
we don't know how long Mahomes can play for him to even have a sniff of chasing Brady. Do you know what I mean? And then
Exactly.
back to Burrow earlier on, again, referencing Lamar and Josh, if they don't get to the Super Bowl this year, when are they going to get to it? Because the young guys that are coming in, bro, they're all good. Like no matter if you're better, if they're good and they've got better teams, which the NFC shows, for instance, or the teams that are leading in the AFC, it's like,
Yeah, very true. Very true.
so
They
no, the Chiefs, Mahomes' injury is the bad icing on the cake of this season of a big reset and regroup, rest. But the coach, there needs to be some form of changes in the squad personnel as well as maybe the coaching personnel. Because when we were chatting last night, I was like, bro, since Eric Bieniemy, as lot as he used to take, since Bieniemy's left, the Chiefs' offense does not look nice. I remember
mm,
a couple postseasons ago, they had to call him in for the postseason.
yeah.
I think it was 2 years ago when they won it back to like the San Francisco one. It's like he like people might have complained about him, but the thing Tyreek Hill always used to say, Mahomes used to say, is like, bro, he does not let anyone fuck about, basically.
Yeah,
And the
it's true.
Chiefs' offense has just gone so stale. Like they literally, you're watching, you'll be like 3 and out. Oh yeah, long drive, long drive, long drive, field goal, 3 and out, long drive, long drive, long drive. We'll get a touchdown on third or fourth down. It's just like
Yeah,
like the flip side when you watch Detroit LA, that game was so entertaining, bro.
yeah, it's true.
So anyway, but yeah, that's the Chiefs season done. So thankfully we don't have to talk about them anymore.
Mm,
Speaking of Josh Allen, superb win at New England. Coming back, coming from 21 down, 21-0
mm,
to win 35-31. Divisional game. Now the pressure is slightly on for the Patriots. I don't know what the tiebreakers look like, but if they were to lose to the Ravens this upcoming game, for instance, and the Bills win, they're level on record.
mm.
So again, I don't know what tiebreakers look like, but mate, it seems like it seems like the Patriots got a bit ahead of themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I also feel like their schedule wasn't the most difficult. When we figured out they were actually a good team, their
They
schedule
were,
started to look a lot easier than it was before. We
funny
were
enough,
thinking
it was
about it.
easier than the Bills.
Yeah, that's the thing. We figured out they're actually a good team. So I feel like their schedule now towards the back end of the season is now picked up. Almost like a lot of the schedules you see, and you're like, okay, cool. You now have to play tough games, even if it's only like
Hmm.
2 or 3 tough games. But you're now having to play games against teams that are either fighting for a playoff spot or in contention to get a playoff spot.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's what they didn't factor in themselves. But the Bills, you got to give it to Josh Allen, man. You got to give it to Josh Allen because he was sensational. Comeback king this year anyway. What he's been doing in these big games. The defense actually stood strong because they did not allow the Patriots to score another point after that first half. So,
Mm,
well, not after the first half. They did score. They scored in the
yeah,
first or the fourth quarter on the
it
long
was
touch.
Henderson, his second 50-yard run
Yes,
touchdown.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
But they did hold the Patriots in check. Basically, they weren't allowing them to just go off like they did in the first half. So
Hmm.
you got to give credit to the defense. You got to give credit to James Cook. But Josh Allen was Josh Allen. He was Superman. I'm not sitting there saying he was MVP Josh Allen or he's going to be the MVP. No, because I know a lot of people are pushing that narrative today. But
Yeah,
he was sensational when he put his team on his back and he did what he needed to do because they needed this win. Because if they lost this game, then that's the division wrapped up and they're now
yeah,
looking going on the road to somewhere. And that
yeah.
somewhere going to be somewhere nice right now. Do you get
It's
what
still
I
likely going on the road, but definitely agree.
Yeah. So I feel like for the Patriots, they need to obviously reset, look at what they want to do and for the next couple of games and try and have good momentum going into the playoffs. And for the Bills, it was a good win to set themselves up going into these last 3 games for them. And we'll see what they can do, obviously. But they tend to lose willy-nilly nonsense games. So they'll probably end up losing one of these ones against the Brown. Somewhat
Yeah,
silly now.
they have got the Browns next. Funny enough.
Yeah.
So the Bills got the Browns away, Eagles at home, and then Jets at home. And then the Patriots have the Ravens away, Jets away, and then Dolphins at home.
See, so the Patriots, it should be, you say 2-1 to be nice.
Yeah.
Should be a 3-0. And the Bills 2-1 to be nice.
Hmm.
It could be a 3-0 just judging off what the Eagles are
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
Facts.
mean?
Facts. Because like you said, like again, Josh Allen, he's not MVP. I hope the narrative doesn't go away. But that was an MVP performance. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? And he's he's probably the only quarterback that's had, I'd say, two or more of these kind of performances. Just let's just say the Superman performances.
Yeah.
Like Stafford's consistency has made him clear cut for me. And then what Drake May had done was second. But like you'd have when the Cowboys were doing all right, you'd have Dak in the mix. Now, obviously, they lost last night as well. Jordan Love would have been in the mix if they'd won for
But
like
they
that third spot. And now Josh Allen just has it clear where he might even be battling Drake May for second place right now. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and Josh Allen like that, and like you said with James Cook complimenting, because once Cook gets again over 100 yards, they generally win.
Mm-hmm.
Defense makes plays. If they showed last week against the Bengals, they had to match them and then capitalize, which they did on the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots game, not the one turnover, but the defense stepped up in the second half.
Yep.
We saw it in the Bucks game where Josh Allen had 6 total touchdowns. Like they've had these moments, and if he can, he's easily going to be the most feared person in the playoffs, without a
Oh yeah.
doubt. With no Mahomes there, if they can just have 2 of these games, uh, like they're for me, depending on how the season plays out, they'll be the favorites. If they can win the division somehow, they'll be the favorites for me in the AFC.
Yeah, if they win a division.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
almost feel like if they don't, and then they have to end up going on the road and having to go back to New England or going into Denver.
Denver's the one that I fear. I said this week ago a couple weeks ago when we were talking about Denver and New England. I said Denver, like, and people didn't really agree, but I said Denver's the one that I fear the most out of the two teams. Like,
Oh yeah, 100%. But I fear if they have to go into Houston. Do you get what I mean? If if that's, I fear is a lot more for if they have to go into somewhere. If they're
Yeah,
in
right.
Buffalo, then I feel like they should win the games because the weather just is madness, and they're used to it.
They just know their stadium, their condition.
Mhm.
Like the only quarterbacks I see winning there is Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly. Exactly.
Literally that. The flip side with the Patriots, yeah, this was a good opportunity for Drake May to, as good as he's been, show how clutch he can be. And this is another part reason why I have the Broncos, because as much as slack Bo Nix gets, Bo
Yeah.
Nix has showed this year, one, their schedule has now benefited them that the Broncos were beating the top teams early. And then these fourth quarter comebacks.
Yep.
So when they were in that position, we're going to get to the Packers game soon. Like Bo Nix was fantastic. And he's had these moments where he can actually somewhat go toe to toe, or when it's band for band. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the Pats needed Drake May to those final two drives, for instance. It's like, yo, you need to match Allen here.
Very true. Very true.
So, but hell of a win by the Bills. That's one of the most impressive performances and wins that I've seen this season in general. So, and I Buffalo, you don't know I'm a hater, but I don't really give you lot credit, but fair play.
Mm.
Giants, Commanders took that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, yeah. Two teams ain't going nowhere in it. So good win.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Chicago Bears, we would speak about Caleb earlier. They basically got rid of the Cleveland Browns fairly quickly and smoothly.
Yes, they did. I don't. They dominated on all ends up. I feel like watching Browns. The Browns have an injury crisis right now as well on every front. I feel like the Browns are just literally playing for. They're evaluating Shador Sanders and they're trying to get Myles Garrett the sack record. And I don't even know if they're evaluating Shador Sanders anymore because they don't have an O-line. So I don't know what they're
Yeah, I think they
doing.
said all their whole O line was out, or there's only one starter.
Only one starter. So
That's crazy.
basically, I don't know what they're actually evaluating. But the Browns were the Browns, but Chicago looked good. Chicago looked good in mad weather conditions, as we heard before the game was going to be crazy in Chicago. So they look good on all ends up. Run game looked great. The run game has looked great the past few weeks anyway. In fact, more or less the whole season.
I
Caleb looked,
think they've got the second best rushing attack in the NFL,
yeah.
whereas last season they had the worst.
And you can see the difference that makes for the quarterback. Do you get what I mean? It gives Caleb a lot more time to throw. Although his numbers weren't great, in those conditions, you just make the plays where you want to make the plays. He had good field position. He kind of drove them down. Ben Johnson is always doing what they're doing. Their defense was great. They had good turn. They made plays. Two of the three turnovers were on Shador. The other one was on Jerry Jeudy, but we speak about Jerry Jeudy enough to, I don't want to bother with him. So, yeah, the Bears look good and they look like they can really make noise in the NFC, especially if it's going to come into Chicago.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I like them. I like what they're doing down there. Especially how they're running their offense and their defense is real good.
Opportunistic defense. With them, it shows the power of the offensive line. Because in the summer, that was their main thing. It wasn't targets. They managed to draft well anyway, receiver wise, like the last 2 years, but it was cleaning up the offensive line, obviously getting Joe Tooney from the Chiefs and then fixing everywhere else. Caleb's gone from, I think, the most sacked quarterback last season, or within the top three, to the second least sacked quarterback this season. And then the run game going from the worst last season to the second best.
O-line.
Power of an O-line. They're the guys that no one knows their faces or anything like that. But boy, oh boy.
They're the most important. If they protect the quarterback has time to throw. And you can see, like, for instance, just look at the Chiefs. Your O-line hasn't been great. Look how Patrick Mahomes has performed. When your O-line is just okay, look how Patrick Mahomes performs. When it's good, look, you get what I mean? You can see the power of the O-line. And that's with the best of the best quarterbacks. So if it's with someone that's, the number one overall pick last year, the up and coming, one of the best young quarterbacks, you'll see the difference. And you can see the difference within the run game, the pass game, and the overall offense. And Ben Johnson can now run some of these trick plays that he was using, obviously, in Detroit. And he can now do a lot more things because he understands, oh, we're going to be safe. The quarterback's going to be able to have time to be able to process and do
Right.
things. So I feel like that investment by Chicago was the best investment they've made. And that's why they look so good this year.
Yeah, no, facts. And if they hold on to that division, then boy, oh boy, like you said, it's going to be tough for teams to go into Chicago with, which
Yeah.
you would not have imagined saying that over the last 20 years, for instance,
Nope.
given the narrative around Chicago. But a hell of a win. Before we move on from that game, I'm sure you saw, we haven't spoke about it, but about Shador's wristbands. The first wristband, the first two plays did not have the correct wristband on. I think this just sums up the Cleveland Browns, the organization.
Mm-hmm. yeah. Brother, every week is something. And it's something that we've never heard of before in the NFL.
Bro, ex-NFL players that I've been listening to today have said they'd never come across. These are guys in their 40s and 50s. They've never heard of that ever, of them. Because they were saying, like, with the wristband thing, it's basically your final wristband is is given in on Saturday morning. So that's like, all right, the first 15 plays, they know what they're going to run this. Then the next 50, for instance, they'll do up different schemes that they're just like, bro, like, no one, like, it's not an excuse for Shador, but no wonder the start of the game was just non-existent for the Browns. Because we were on the phone and you said to me, why do I look up? And every time I look up at this game, the Browns don't have the ball on offense.
Chicago had the ball the whole time. The time of possession at one point was like 13 minutes to 2. I was like, what the hell's going on? I was just sitting there saying something must have gone wrong. But as I said, you know, the Browns, every week they create something new that's never, ever been seen before. And, you know, it just feeds into the more of the story of, were you trying to sabotage this man? Because you don't help yourselves. You don't help yourself. And I don't even want to be on that sabotaging thing, but every week,
stayed away from it, but you're giving it fuel to the fire.
like, come on. Why could it not just be 1 week where you just act like a normal NFL team?
Mm-hmm.
Just one. But no, it's the Browns. Well, next week, I don't know what we're going to see. They're going to forget Shador's pads.
Mate, I knew they're at home against the Bills. Myles Garrett, this sack, what's he now? 1.5 sacks away from the record?
Yes.
I think he got a sack and a half yesterday. So he's a sack and a half away, but he's got a slight groin injury, they were saying.
Yeah. I think even with a slight groin injury, man, he can get 2.
Josh Allen, just give him the 2 next week, please. Just let him do it that game and then.
Yeah, he can get 2. He can get 2.
Because I want him to do it before the 17th game. So he done it within the old record, do you know what I mean? Of the 16 games. And
yeah.
obviously if he does it,
he's got the Bills, he's got the Steelers, and he's got the Bengals left.
I believe so, yeah.
Regardless, if it's not next, obviously we want him to do it next week, but if he's not doing it next week, if Burrow plays like he played on Sunday, he might get 4 in him, and Aaron Rodgers, he might just get 4 in him too.
Yeah, I think Shannon was saying he should set out the Bills game if he's got the slight groin injury, then just go crazy the final 2. But you know, again, NFL, you don't want to pass up that opportunity that you've got then and there. It's like, if I can do it now, yeah. Your Panthers, who we mentioned at the beginning, NFC South, the Saints have now won back-to-back games against the Bucks and the Panthers, really making your division interesting. And it was a game the Panthers had in a bit of control, but they just didn't score in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that's what happens when, you know, I feel like we went into it with a level of complacency. I feel like we thought, okay, cool, we're going to have this in the bag. We're going to walk into New Orleans, walk out of here with a win. And unfortunately, this is the NFL. You just can't do that. And especially, we're not good enough to just do that. We don't have the players to just do that. And we learned our lesson yesterday. I hope that we learned a good, hard lesson that now we have to go in, but now we're going to have to play the Bucks twice. We're going to have to win both of those games. We got another game in between that we're going to have to win to cement ourselves in the playoffs. So I feel like a lesson was learned yesterday. Although I would have preferred us to win. I feel like this
Mate,
lesson is going to take
if
us to
you
the
lot
playoffs.
won and then won next week, you lot would have won the division. The second game against the Bucks wouldn't have even mattered.
See, but I feel like this lesson that we learned this weekend is going to take us, and we're going to learn from it. We're going to learn a good, strong lesson.
Mate, now you lot are in the mix. I actually wouldn't mind you lot being in the play. And the thing is, if you lot had won yesterday, I genuinely think, regardless of where the game is next week, I can't remember. I reckon you guys would have beat the Bucks.
Yeah, same. I think we're still going to beat the Bucks, but I'm just sitting here going, you can't throw away opportunities like that. And do you know what? On the flip side, I got to big up the Saints, because the Saints ain't just laid down and rolled over and let them
fair play to them.
In whipping boys for anyone to come in. They've actually gone in one game since the Tyler Shock change. He's actually looked very good, actually.
He's making us know. I'm saying his name right now. Remember, you had to keep on correcting me first 2 weeks.
Yeah. Tyler Shock has been playing. He's been playing well.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to big him up. As much as the New Orleans fans, when they drafted him, they weren't happy. I feel like, you know, you got someone.
Serviceable.
Yeah. You got someone that can work within the system. And I know his age is going to play a factor into it, but I feel like for them, they've got receivers. They've actually got receivers. They've actually got players around him to actually work. So I feel like they're in a good space. But the Panthers, we just need to learn a lesson from the weekend, and next week come out all guns blazing, because if we lose next week, I don't know. They sent me to bed early.
So next week you're hosting the Bucks, and then you're hosting the Seahawks, and then you're away to the Bucks to finish off. If it goes to that Week 18 game in Tampa Bay, winner takes all, boy, they might need to push that game to prime time.
Oh yeah. If not, then I'm downloading the thing on the Zone just for that one game.
Fair. No, I hear it still. But the Bucks, their schedule. In between you guys, the Bucks got the Dolphins away.
Yeah, see, that's
so
the problem.
They've not got an easy schedule either. But
because the Dolphins are still vying for the playoffs. Obviously, their result tonight will actually depend on what they can do. But I feel like the Steelers are just another team that are up and down. So the Dolphins could get the win today, and then we'll see what they can do, because they can still make the playoffs, funny enough.
Yeah, no facts. Hey, that NFC South all of a sudden has become very interesting. Even though it's still only one team coming out, but it's going down to the end.
Right.
The NFC South needs to raise their standards, though. It's been like this for the last few years. Even Brady's last year? They won at 8 or 9. It's like, come on, man. Come on, guys. The game we mentioned earlier, game of the week, flipping superb game, great offenses. Defense is not so much to be desired on this particular game, but the Los Angeles Rams beating the Detroit Lions. Hell of a game. Both quarterbacks are absolutely balled.
Yeah. Hell of a game. Those are the words you use when you see two offenses as high-powered as these two come against each other. And it felt like whoever had the ball in their hands last was going to win the game. It felt like a shootout from the start. Obviously, Stafford had the early interception, but you know Stafford, so he's never going to be rattled from that sort of stuff. It was a great play by Hutch, to be fair. And then you see Detroit kind of take over. Well, I say take over, but, you know, score, get points on the board. Amon-Ra St. Brown was balling.
Jacob, I think he's my favorite player. Like, actually,
Someone on the line.
I just love Amon-Ra St. Brown, bro. The guy, he's probably the most durable warrior beast non-quarterback player in the NFL, bro. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's amazing.
100%.
The guy could have walked the other day, and did you see his warm-up last week? I said, he's crazy.
In which he was cutting, I couldn't believe it. I said, hold on, a high ankle sprain. I've done that injury. You can't cut like that. No. You can't even put your toe down. So, yeah, different type of animal he is.
Bro,
but you know, at the end of the day, and you know what? I feel sorry for Devontae Adams. Obviously, went down with a hamstring. And that's a big miss. That might be a big blow, but depending on how long it's going to be, I feel like they rest him up and he can go into the playoffs, and that's key for them because he's their real end zone threat. But
I mean, after the game, McVay didn't rule him out for this upcoming game. I think it's way too soon because it's the Thursday night game. Yep. Yep.
no, yeah, no. I know the NFL got their specialities in their pharmaceutical,
bro.
but no, there's no reason for it. There's no reason
Bro,
for it.
I saw it as well, and I was like, McVay, relax. Let me just charge this laptop. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. But no, there's no reason for it. I feel like the Rams are the team to beat in the NFC. I think I can happily say that confidently now, even though it might change next week. But I feel like confidently the Rams are the teams to beat in the NFC. I feel like they've got the best quarterback and their receivers are good. Not even good. Tua is just not even. He's one of the top 5. He's just people don't see him as that. Do you get what I mean?
Tuka's a joke, man. He's an absolute joke. I think he had his highest yards yesterday.
Would make sense.
He gave, I think when I watched the locker room video, McVay gave him the game ball, and I'm sure he said that part, or one of the game balls. So yeah, but then the flip side is Jared Goff balled, like, and it wasn't just give it to my playmaker. He was actually mobile in the pocket, everything. Amon-Ra had 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams, who you challenged a couple weeks ago when we thought Amon-Ra was going to be injured, he's stepping up, bro. 134 yards, 1 touchdown, bro. Do you know what actually lost the Lions this game? They didn't have a run game. The Rams stopped their run game, really.
Yep.
Like Montgomery had a few little breaks, but stopping Jahmyr Gibbs, 13 for 38. So that's 2.9 an average.
When you stop that, you kind of stop a lot of their offense because everything comes off their run, but they can I just feel like the Lions will be fine. I think.
Mate, Chicago's 1 in that division. Green Bay 2. Lions 3.
But why I say the Lions will be fine is because the Packers obviously had the injury to Micah, and I don't know if he's coming back. So,
he's done his ACL.
Oh, he's out. ACL confirmed.
I was gonna update you. Then when you saw the Panthers and you said in the chat, "I'm going bed," I just left you. Literally after you said you're going bed, that's when they said they believe Michael Parsons has torn his ACL.
Oh, okay. I thought it was that when I saw it, but it's now confirmed. Okay, so that's why I'm saying the Lions will be fine because I saw the Packers without him.
They lost their energy without him.
Yes, and he's a massive part of their defense. So as much as I believe their offense can pull them over the line, we'll get to the Packers, but as much as I feel like their offense can pull them over the line, I just think that Lions have more, and their injuries aren't what they were last year. And I think if they get in the playoffs, you don't want to really, really go up against them because you know the run game, you know what Jahmyr Gibbs can do, you know what Jared Goff can do, and the weapons. I just feel like their play calling, as much as it's still good, I don't know if Dan Campbell's still calling the plays. Please just give them back to.
I think he's giving it back, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I might have heard that. I might be wrong though, but
yeah, if he hasn't yet, give them back and just be a head coach again.
Well, you're right. Even regardless of the play, they still score 30 points for fun.
Exactly.
and this was one of the best defenses who the Rams have in the NFL. Like for me, the Rams had to win this game because their division's crazy, bro. Yep. The Seahawks are matching them, and they've got the Seahawks Thursday night in Seattle, and then the 49ers are 1 game behind both.
Yeah.
Like that's another crazy division. Like we'll come to, like, once we talk about the Packers, we'll talk about the schedule, then Lions, Bears, and then the same for this division, bro. But again, I think for me, going back to Stafford, he's somewhat wrapped up the MVP debate for me. Especially like given Drake May's game against Josh Allen. For me personally, I just think Stafford's so clear. Or he was so clear. Then his bad game where he had a couple turnovers, it closed the gap between him and May. But then now Josh Allen, I know what the media's like. They're going to push Josh Allen in this conversation. And because with Josh Allen, he's the one we heard the most total touchdowns over the last couple of years. Obviously, I hear it. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like, they're gonna push him in somehow. This is why the Rams can't afford to slip up for Matthew Stafford's sake for MVP.
Mm. No, it's true. It is true. It
Because
is true.
they won't hesitate giving Josh Allen.
Oh no, they want to. They want to. They want to put him on the same level as Lamar and Mahomes. They want to do it. They're waiting. They've been like, oh yeah, now we got the same accolades. But we never treat him the same anyway. The media darling, the one. We'll see. We'll see. But great win for the Rams. They're going into another tough test on Thursday night. But I feel like they're a better team than the Seahawks right now anyway. So
Agreed.
I thought they'll be able to beat them.
Agreed. Speaking of the Seahawks, also 11-3, just like the Rams. Mate, they nearly allowed 44-year-old Philip Rivers to pull off the shock win in Seattle, and it was looking like that. It was like the stage was set. They got the field goal, and then Seattle came back the other way because early on in the game, Darnold kind of struggled, like moving the ball. JSN had one drop, which was quite rare, but then he had over 100 yards, which isn't rare. And then Darnold picked up as the game got along, finished with like 270 yards, no touchdowns, but got the ball rolling. And like the Colts, they shocked me in how much they were in the game.
Yeah, well, I feel like they gave Philip Rivers the right reads, and he's a veteran quarterback, and he was sensational on his day. So I feel like they gave him the right reads. I feel like he brings a lot of energy to them as well. The energy they may have lost from seeing Daniel Jones go down, I feel like they got that back. They led on their run game alone, which you expected. But I feel like the Colts will still be in every game they play, because Philip Rivers is competent enough to play this position. At 44, his throw motion looks mad, but it's always looked mad, but the ball gets to where it needs to get to.
What? He's always had a strong arm with that motion.
Yeah. It just looks mad. It just looks weird, but he's always gonna put you in a position to win the game. And, off of the couch, literally, to that first game.
High school, bro. High school coaching.
Exactly. Looks good. It looks good.
Now I was gonna say, you made a good point on just him knowing the reads, because he had Shane Steichen as his coordinator when they were in Los Angeles with the Chargers. So like he's known him for a big chunk of his career where he knows exactly what the coach wants.
Exactly. So it's nothing new to him. And that's the type of man that when they say he's forgot more football than most people know. So do you get what I mean? He's literally the perfect person to kind of steady the ship for however long you want the ship to be steadied. I don't know if that's still Anthony Richardson can come back and be fit, or I don't know what their plan is if they make the playoffs. But we'll see. Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Because like if they won that yesterday, would you have then thought, hold on, can the Colts make the playoffs?
Hey, I still feel like there's a possibility they can make the playoffs anyway. Do you get what are they? What are they now? 8-5? 8-6?
8-6.
So if they win the last 3, win out, they're 11-6, and then
it's tough though. Let me see their schedule. Because that final 3, I know we said they've got the Texans. So they got the 49ers at home, the Jags at home, and then the Texans away.
Yes, it's painful.
It is.
But you know what? 3 weeks ago, they said the Colts could have won all 3.
Yeah. Obviously then, innit? Do you know what I mean? So, because they were 8-2, now they're on a losing streak. So, another very good game, Broncos Packers. Obviously, before Micah got injured.
Yeah, man, Bo Nix is really, really playing. He's very clutch. I feel like he turns up in these games where it means a lot to have it. Their defense, we already know what their defense is. When the plays need to be made, they make the plays. They're the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion. I think it's not even in my opinion. I think they're the best defense in the NFL anyway.
What? Ahead of the Texans? They're neck and neck for me.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? I like the Texans a lot. I just feel like the Broncos, because of their back end and the players they've got, but the Texans got players on the back end as well. It's neck and neck, you're right. But
the Broncos get more sacks. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But they're leading the NFL in sacks.
Yeah. So I feel like the Broncos are more, I don't know. With the way Bo Nix is playing now, they're a more complete team than the Texans.
Back to the O-line talk. The Broncos have the best O-line in the NFL.
That's Bo Nix doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it was a real good game. It was a real good game. I felt Jordan Love was playing well until obviously the Mike injury took every bit of energy
Bro,
from the whole team.
agreed.
So I feel like that's what derailed them. Other than that, I thought that the Packers were going to win the game.
Same. Because
So
you could see, even though Bo Nix was having a good game, the pressures Michael was getting to him, like there was a lot of holding calls that weren't called. And Michael got his first holding call all season yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or since the beginning of the season. Michael gets held galore. There was one that was so obvious right in front of Bo Nix and the ref didn't call it. I was like, wow.
sometimes you just NFL calls, but the Broncos look good. I don't have any more things to say about the Broncos. They look good. I feel like they are the team right now going into the playoffs, the ones to beat in the AFC. They are the team. They're the top team in the AFC, and their record proves it. You sometimes just can't go against their record. Sometimes your eye test tells you are
they
great.
deserve to be where they are for me. Like, because as much as Knicks has taken like some bashing, rightfully so, he's also again done the flip side of being super clutch. These second-year quarterbacks, they're all having a good year. That's another point. But like the team always just stay in the game. Like we've seen their defense stay in games, and then the offense finally shows up. And whether it's a bad opposition, good opposition, it's like whoever's in front of the Broncos, it doesn't matter. They're not changing the way they play.
Yeah. And it works. It works for them, and you can see. Good team, real good team. Packers look like a good team as well. The injury, I don't know how much is going to derail them in terms of what they're looking to do going forwards. I would have put them
injured as well.
Exactly. That's the thing. 2 key injuries. Watson stays injured though, but he looked healthy and he looked real fit, and this was like his not breakout, but you get what I mean. He looked like he was going to be the guy this year.
He looked like he was going to not take them over the edge, but since he's been back, they've been so good.
Yes. And now he's gone again. And I don't know what the injury is. It's dislocated shoulder or broken collarbone, one of the two. So that's what I don't know. I don't know what the Packers are going to do now. Do you get what I mean? Because their schedule to end isn't easy, I don't think.
Their schedule is away at the Bears, at home to the Ravens, and away at the Vikings.
Yeah,
and we know the Vikings will just want to mess up that final.
That's the thing. It's not an easy schedule to end out, especially without your number one pass rusher, your number one defensive player there, and probably your number one receiver.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to go down.
And they lost their number one tight end weeks ago.
So you're going to be in a situation where it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, especially playing against the teams you're playing against, all of them vying for playoff spots, bar the Vikings. But do you get what I mean?
We saw what the Vikings did last night. So, but 49ers, mate. Again, they're just there and abouts. Like they're one game off both the Rams and the Seahawks. Dealt with the Texans pretty much. The Titans, sorry, apologies. Same division. Purdy, great game. Very confident, since he hit that Dougie. And when I was before the Chargers game, I was looking up to see where the Chiefs ranked in terms of takeaways. Do you know what surprised me? As great as their defense has been, the 49ers, I think, are last in the NFL in takeaways. Or bottom 2, bottom 3. But Robert Saleh has just got this young defense that no one knows. They lost their 2 best defensive players to injury. They said Fred Warner might make the postseason. I think I read that somewhere. But Saleh, he's going to get a head coaching job again because of what that 49ers defense have been like. Brilliant. Brilliant. No one really knows the young G's. They've drafted well, and just the schemes, they're not sacking, but they're shutting shit down.
3 and outs.
Yeah.
So I like the 49ers. They're always there. They're always there. They're never not going to be there. Even when you think, because this year I was thinking they're not going to be there.
Yeah.
And they're always right there. So you can never count them out. But I think one of the best coached teams in the NFL. Next man up mentality. is all that runs through that organization. You can see everything works even without the starting quarterback, starting tight ends. You get what I mean? It doesn't matter.
And
Like,
that is the power of having a serviceable backup. Because I think
exactly.
I can't remember their record with Matt Jones. I like to say 5-3. I might be wrong, but it's put them in this position where you're not going to want to face them. 'Cause
No,
the thing with the 49ers, home or away, they're the same. They don't need home field advantage. They'll go to your house and they'll make it their home.
exactly. Exactly that. So, and they can play in every condition. I feel like they've seen everything.
That as well.
Yeah.
Remember they won in Green Bay in the cold snow
Exactly.
years ago when Aaron Rodgers was there, when they had the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're right. Yeah, the 49ers, they made up for any. Yeah. And they got their support. They make it a home game. Like, yeah.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, it's long. You're not going to want to face them. It's so
I like
long.
I
I
like them a
do.
lot. So we'll see.
I
We'll
do as
see what
well,
they
man.
can do. But yeah, they look formidable again.
Yeah, great
Like,
win. Purdy's looking good again, and as long as Purdy's good, you got the weapons. Pearsall's stepping up, Kittle's back, Jennings is showing. Obviously, Ayuk, he's up. They don't know what's going on. He's out for the season. All that
yeah.
jazz. And then yes, the night game. Cowboys, their season's officially over. I hope no one believes they can still
No,
make
that
that.
was done. It's
It's
been done.
done.
It's
It's
done.
done. JJ McCarthy,
Yes.
maybe these back-to-back games and the aura energy that he showed is what they believed they could see when they drafted him, because the interception did not bother him. He had a good game.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna give these young quarterbacks time, man.
I agree.
I remember Tom Brady saying something like that. He said, like, a lot of these young quarterbacks now come into the NFL and just get thrown into situations, whereas before, the ones that we've seen have the long-term careers were sat behind quarterbacks for 3 or 4 years and then learned how to be a quarterback in the NFL, learned how to do things the right way, and then went and played. So, obviously, this is kind of JJ McCarthy's rookie season because obviously he spent the whole last year out. So we're seeing the rookie mistakes he does make because he was watching, he was meant to take him last year. He's now in the field with Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison, with this offensive line. He's kind of seeing things firsthand. He's also had injuries this year. So you can see from the growth of what he was at the start of the season to now. And I feel like those reps, Kevin O'Connell when he's in, coaching him up, and the team behind him kind of believing in this is our guy is helping. And I feel like they dominated. They were real good. They were real good in all aspects of the game. So I like what the Vikings put on film. And, you know, as you said, the Cowboys season is now officially over.
Yeah.
Wow. Numbers wise, I think, can they still make the playoffs?
I think they've got 3%. They're not officially out, basically. So
Okay, but really and truly, they're gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah, the
Brandon
Cowboys.
Aubrey missing 2 field goals. That was a big shock. Sure.
Yeah, because he don't miss anything.
Mm.
He don't miss anything. But the Cowboys, we kind of knew going into the season what we thought they were, and then had like 2 weeks ago we said, "Oh, the Cowboys, they're looking like
the Eagles and Chiefs win."
yeah." And then after that, 2 back-to-back losses. Yeah, cool. The Cowboys are what we thought they were.
Their defense, especially, yeah.
Yeah,
it's just reverted back to if Kenny Clark or Quinnen Williams or even Overshawn can't get to quarterback, then that back end can get cooked.
Yeah, consistently by everyone and anyone. So
no, you're not wrong. The Vikings will be interesting next season. Obviously, like I stated earlier on, highest paying team, but they're kind of now in win now mode. Can JJ McCarthy put them in that position? Their division is super tough. Like, but
yeah. If you're in that division, I don't think you can be the whipping boys, especially with a team that's as highly paid as you have a team. So I feel like you guys have to be, well, the Vikings have to be like smart with whatever decisions they're going to make. And obviously not having to pay a quarterback for a long period of time, that is a good thing right now.
But then the flip side is, would you have kept Sam Darnold last year from winning 14 games?
See, you would say, yeah. Yeah, I would have. I would have, but then you drafted JJ McCarthy, 10th pick in the first round the year before, on the same year? So,
well, Donald was meant to be backup if I'm not mistaken. And then
Exactly. So that's the thing. It's like, what do you do? What do you do? Do you keep a quarterback and then have a young quarterback on the roster, and then you pay Darnold, and then your team have to pay? I think it comes down to finances at the end of the day, because you can't then commit 100 million to one quarterback whilst having a 10th pick on the roster.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You have to be paid. So I think it just made sense financially. Maybe not for what the players or the coach wanted to do, but for the ownership and for everyone that's actually paying the money, it made sense for them.
No, you're right. Fair. Wow, week 15. Bloody hell, there was no bye this week. This is our longest episode. Just looking at the time. Well, I think we said it before the game started. This was a very good weekend of games, and the proof was near enough in the pudding. Some of the games that we expected to be good weren't as good, but some of the other ones were absolutely fantastic. And I think you've continuously said the last couple of weeks, this NFL was so wide open. Like, we've got, on the other hand, with Mahomes officially being out, the Chiefs officially being out, those two AFC supermen themselves in Allen and Lamar, can you capitalize? But then you've got the young G's and Drake May and Bo Nix leading their teams with better overall teams.
Mm-hmm.
And then the NFC, we've just got great teams with very good quarterbacks, and Stafford playing at an MVP level. So I think it's a fun, very competitive NFL right now, like across both divisions. Before, we just used to look at like the top 4 quarterbacks: Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, and whatever the NFC gives us, we'll get whoever matches up because they're a good team. But the NFC are now producing very good quarterbacks as well. So
it's interesting to see. Makes for a fun year, and it'll make for a fun playoffs, because we haven't got the AFC Super Bowl champion in there, and the way the Eagles look, we might not have them in there for too long either. So gonna get a brand new winner this year, it looks like.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and it'll be very interesting. These final few weeks gonna make things heading into postseason really interesting and super fun as well. But hey, that's our week 15. Catch us at the end of this week for our predictions for week 16. Get me and our leaderboard and all that jazz. As Dej likes to say, tell a friend to tell a friend, and the main man himself.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. My Chiefs, I'm still with you though in spirit. But as I close this robe, I've closed our season. Joe, I am signing out with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Jacob, I'm Jacob. I'm signing out. Panthers, you know what to do.
Aye, come on, Carolina. Let's go. Yeah, peace.